January 15, 1966, a young Nigerian army officer led armed soldiers into the home of the most powerful politician in northern Nigeria. Before sunrise, the man was dead. His name was Kaduna Zugu. He was only 28 years old. He was Igbo by tribe, but northern by upbringing. He spoke Hausa fluently. He dressed like a northerner, and many northerners loved him like one of their own. But here is the part most Nigerians were never taught. Kaduna Zugu was never officially tried in court, never sentenced, never publicly judged for the first military coup in Nigerian history. Instead, he was imprisoned, released, and later died in battle fighting for a country he did not even fully believe in. And strangely enough, he died exactly 1 year after the bloody counter-coup his own actions helped trigger. Because what happened next did not just destroy a government, it changed Nigeria forever. Before the soup to understand Kaduna Zugu, you first have to understand Nigeria in 1965. The country was still very young. Nigeria had gained independence from Britain only 5 years earlier.
As one nation, free and united, the future of Nigeria shines brightly before us.
People believed a new future was possible. But beneath the celebrations and speeches, the country was already beginning to crack. Corruption was spreading. Elections were being manipulated. Regional politics was becoming dangerous. The North distrusted the South. The West fought internal political wars. And ethnic suspicion was quietly growing everywhere. Nigeria looked united from the outside. But inside, the foundation was weak. And inside the Nigerian army, young officers were watching all of it happen. These men were educated, disciplined, some trained in Britain's best military institutions. And many of them believed Nigerian politicians were destroying the country. Kaduna Nzeogwu was one of those officers. He was born to Igbo parents, but was raised in Kaduna in northern Nigeria. That is why people called him Kaduna. The North shaped him. Its culture shaped him. Its people shaped him. But despite his love for the North, he believed Nigeria itself was broken. And he became convinced that only force could save it. The Sakrit plan by late 1965, Nzeogwu had already begun planning something dangerous. At the time, he was chief instructor at the Nigerian Military Training College in Kaduna. His commanders trusted him completely. So when he requested approval for a military exercise called Operation Damisa, nobody became suspicious. Damisa means tiger. Officially, it was supposed to be a training operation, but secretly, Operation Damisa was a coup. The plan was simple but deadly. Young military officers would strike at the same time in Kaduna, Lagos, and Ibadan. Political leaders would be removed. Senior military officers would be eliminated, and then a new government would emerge. A government they believed would be disciplined, honest, and free from corruption. At least, that was the dream. But history has a way of changing dreams into disasters. January 15, 1966. In the early hours of January 15, 1966, the operation began. Nzeogwu led armed soldiers to the residence of Sir Ahmadu Bello, the premier of northern Nigeria and one of the most powerful men in the country. Before dawn, Bello was dead. His wife was also killed. At the same time in Lagos, Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was captured. He never returned alive. In Ibadan, Premier Samuel Akintola was also killed. Within hours, Nigeria's political leadership was collapsing. Senior military officers were shot. Government figures disappeared. Confusion spread everywhere. Then Nzeogwu appeared on radio in Kaduna, calm, confident, declaring martial law. The First Republic of Nigeria was ending in real time. The sealed face, but here is the twist many people still do not fully understand. The coup did not fully succeed. And the men who stopped it were not foreigners or politicians. They were senior Igbo officers inside the Nigerian army. The most important among them was Major General Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi. Ironsi refused to support the coup. Instead, he moved quickly to stop it. He contacted officers loyal to him. He stabilized Lagos, and he sent men Nzeogwu trusted to negotiate his surrender. One of them was Lieutenant Colonel Conrad Nwawo, a man Nzeogwu respected deeply. Eventually, Nzeogwu surrendered. He was arrested and imprisoned. But outside the military, something else was already happening. Many Northerners did not see the coup as a patriotic revolution. They saw it as an ethnic attack. Why? Because most of the major political victims were Northerners and Westerners, while important Igbo political figures survived. To many people in the North, it looked like an Igbo attempt to take over Nigeria. And that belief would soon unleash terrible consequences. No trial, only silency. After the coup failed, Kaduna and Nzeogwu remained in prison. But something strange happened. There was no public trial, no courtroom, no official sentence, no national investigation shown to ordinary Nigerians. The man linked to Nigeria's first coup simply sat in detention. Quietly, some believed the trial would expose uncomfortable truths. Others believed the military feared deeper division inside the army. Either way, Nigeria never officially judged him in court. Then came July 1966. Modern officers launched a violent counter-coup. General Ironsi was captured and killed. And after that, northern cities exploded with violence against Igbo civilians. Thousands were attacked. Thousands fled. Nigeria was falling apart. And during the chaos, Kaduna Zugu was released. The consequences. What does it feel like to start something you can no longer control? Nzeogwu believed he was saving Nigeria. He saw corruption, political failure, division, and like many soldiers, he believed force could solve national problems. But the events that followed became far bigger than him. His coup deepened ethnic suspicion. The counter-coup triggered mass killings. Fear spread across the country. And eventually, the eastern region declared itself Biafra. Ironically, Nzeogwu himself did not strongly believe in Biafra. The north was still emotionally his home. He had northern friends, northern loyalties. He reportedly spoke against war. But when war finally came, he fought anyway. Then, on July 29, 1967, exactly 1 year after the counter-coup, Kaduna Zugu was killed near Nsukka. He was only 30 years old. And in one final irony, he was buried in Kaduna. The northern city that gave him his name, Kaduna Nzeogwu, was never officially punished for Nigeria's first coup. But punishment does not always come through courts. Sometimes history itself becomes the punishment. Because the events that followed his actions changed Nigeria forever. The distrust, the killings, the civil war, the millions of lives destroyed. All of it became part of a chain reaction nobody could fully stop. So the question still remains today. Was Kaduna Nzeogwu a patriot trying to save his country? Or was he the man who unknowingly opened the door to Nigeria's darkest chapter? Maybe the answer is both. Maybe that is why Nigerians are still arguing about him decades later. If this video changed the way you see Nigerian history, like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone else. Because some of the most important parts of Nigeria's history were never fully taught.